Hello and welcome to Chartmill. In this video I will go over the stock chart settings and show some examples of screens that produce nice setups. And as I've mentioned already in the previous videos, Chartmill is a very powerful screener that offers a lot of possibilities for both the novice and also the more experienced investor or trader. It is able to screen on a large number of parameters, both on a technical and a fundamental basis. So the stock screener menu, it can be found by clicking on the top left of the page, where you then can select stock charts, stock screener. And depending on the default view, you can see tables or charts over here. If you want, you can change it, default view to charts, and then you see the charts. On the left in the blue bar, you'll notice that there are currently more than 22,000 shares selected. And that's logical because we haven't set any filters yet. We will create a few examples later on, but first we will briefly go over the different parts of the screener itself. So under the first tab, the General tab, you can check the general settings. Some first very basic filters. The tab Exchange, for example, allows you to select only shares of a specific stock exchange, a continent, or even a region. And here you'll also find price and some volume filters. So price, you can select above 2, 3, any number you want. A volume filter, market cap, outstanding shares, and you can even select specific sectors and or industries, and that's also an option. Next step is the Performance tab. And actually it speaks for itself. You can start filtering on how the share performs on the basis of multiple time intervals. Today's performance, 1 week performance, 2 week performance, 1 month performance, minus to plus 100%. If you want to. And this is also the place where you can set filters based on the price and its relation to certain moving averages. And in one of the screening examples later on, I will implement such a moving average filter. It is very useful to use these kind of moving average filters. Then we have the Indicators tab, where you will undoubtedly recognize many technical indicators that you can set up separately to use as a filter. For example, we have the Force Index, the room, effective volume. You can even select on specific candlestick patterns. Regarding this Chartmill technical and setup ratings, there is more information available in the documentation center. I will give a brief example. If you click on documentation center and in the box, for example, Chartmill setup rating, and you click on the icon, setup rating, Chartmill technical rating and setup quality scores. It will bring you to the article with much more information. So back to the stock screener. So we're in a nutshell for these Chartmill and Chartmill setup ratings and technical ratings. The score of the technical rating, it is based on the strength of the trend. It's a value between 0 and 10. And the setup rating is a score that is given on the basis of very recent price evolution and takes into consideration the possibility of an entry. So the next step is the support and resistance settings. It can be used to find very specific shares whose price is, for example, very close to a support or a certain resistance level. Now it's very important to mention that those levels are automatically generated by the Chartmill stock screener. So you don't have to identify yourself the resistance or support levels. It is done by the Chartmill stock screener. You can even set the strength and the length of the identified support and resistance levels. For example, current 2% from resistance 1. The length calculated, but it's calculated by the number of days, the number of trading days, and even the strength you can select. More info also in our documentation center, and I will put a link in the description below this video about all the topics that are mentioned in this video. Then we have the tab Fundamental. You will recognize the many fundamental filters that can be used to gain insights into the value of the company. Information about the dividend yield, the growth and the payout, price earnings, the forward price earnings, and so on. So unlike the technical analysis, fundamental analysis does not focus on the price of the share, but on the key figures of the company itself. And it goes without saying that Chartmill allows you to combine technical and fundamental filters. For example, if you select companies with strong key figures, on the basis of a first fundamental filter, which you can create over here. And then on that first selection, you can then try out some technical filters in order to select the best setups, both from a fundamental and a technical point of view. At the bottom of this page, there is also the possibility to filter on analyst ratings. You can even select that there has to be at least 5, 10 or 20 analysts. Next tab is the custom tab, and it allows you to apply your own very specific filters, but I'll show you an example in the screen later. And the last tabs are the main chart and the secondary chart. You can view the end result of your used screen filters in the format you want, but I will explain it when I'll show some screening examples. So let's create and explain some sample screens. With the first screen, let's assume that we are looking for shares that are likely to break out in the short or even very short term. And to do that, we start with a number of very basic filters. For example, we will limit ourselves to American shares, US only. And we only want to select stocks with a price higher than $5, so above 5, and an average volume of at least 300K measured over the last 50 trading days. In the performance section, we select the signal within 5% of the 52 weeks high. So under the tab Signal, scrolling down, within 5% of the 52-week high. In addition, these stocks must have risen by at least 1% the last known trading day before the filter was set. So today's performance, %1. And to ensure that we have the momentum to our advantage, we select one more volume filter in the indicator field. And the volume of the last trading day must be at least 100% higher than the day before. So volume increase 100% more than the previous volume. And all these filters applied gives us 7 results. So this is a pure technical screen, and it makes it possible to look for candidates with a minimum price of $5, an average daily volume measured over the last 15 trading days of more than 300,000 pieces, and in addition, on a daily basis, These shares have increased by 1% or more, with at least twice as much volume as the previous trading day. And the last closing price is less than 5% of the highest annual price. And in this case, with these filters used, we obtain a selection of 7 shares. And I'm going to change the view to charts. Two of these shares I'm going to add to a watch list. As you can see, I'm going to change the view per line to 1. And I'm going to apply big charts. As you can see, these candidates are very close to their high. Volume has risen. And an outbreak could occur. Whirlpool is a very nice candidate. So to add some of these candidates to a watch list, you have to click on the plus sign. For example, for performance food group, I'm going to click once. Creating a new list. For example, ready to break out US. Enter. And as you can see, the ticker is added to this list. Now, if I'm scrolling down and I see another interesting ticker, such as Whirlpool, just click on the plus sign, add to the list, ready to break out US. And by saving all these interesting shares in one list, I can retrieve them at any time with one click. VECI is another candidate. I'm going to add this last one, the plus sign, ready to break out US. For our next screen, we want stocks that are rising sharply, but where the price has recently fallen slightly, better known as a price pullback. Such setups usually offer very good opportunities to take a position with a minimum of risk in a stock that performs very well in the long run. And to do that, we use the simple moving averages to find retracements in price. So first, I'm going to delete some filters from the previous screen. So the volume screen and the signal within 5% of the 52-week high. We are going to delete those. But the basic filters, US only, price above 5, and the moving average daily volume stays the same. Also, the performance of the stock today, equal or bigger than 1%, stays the same. As you can see, with these kind of filters, we have almost 500 results, which is too much. Under the tab Performance, we are going to add some moving average filters. So the first one that we are going to select, the price has to be below the simple moving average measured over the last 10 trading days. But price has to be above the simple moving average 20. And also above the simple moving average of the last 50 trading days. In addition, the simple moving average 20 is rising. And also the simple moving average 50 is rising. So now we are left with 11 results. All the filters are mentioned over here in the right corner. And as you can see, all the candidates which are shown over here, there is an uptrend, but price has fallen slightly just beneath the moving average over the last 10 trading days. So if you want to add some of these candidates to a watch list, again, use the plus sign, create new, for example, enter a name. For example, I will call this one Swing Trading US, and the ticker is added to this new created filter watch list. It's another one, Burlington Stores. Just click on the watch list and the ticker is added. Just as we've saved the tickers in a specific watch list, we can also save the screen settings for further use. It's very simple to do so. You just click this button, save the current configuration, and you provide a name for the screen. In this case, I will use the same name as for the watch list. So Swing Trading US, and you hit save. So now this screen with all these filters is saved for use in the future. Using a saved screening filter is very easy. Just go to the stock screener, and instead of selecting all the filters manually, you can choose over here the saved screening filter, in this case Swing Trading US. Just hit it and all the used filters are shown right over here. So we only have one result because the first part of this video was made on the 17th of September and this part is made today, the 18th of September. We just have one result, GWN. I'm going to change the view to charts. One chart per line and big charts. So we only have one result. Now, some more explanation about the main chart and the secondary chart. If you are in the stock screener tab and if you want to change the period, for example, this is a daily chart, then in this case, if you select main chart, you can change the period, for example, to 6 months or even to 3 months. So you can change the view. In this view, we have selected the simple moving average 200, 20 and 50, but you can delete them and you can choose some other indicators or overlays. If you select second two charts, then there is even a possibility to set each chart separately. So the main chart in this case is a period of 3 months and the second chart is a weekly chart. If you want to see them next to each other, just click over here, chart per line. Now it is 1 and you just have to change it to 2. So now you can compare the both charts on a daily and a weekly base. And if you want to change the main chart, the daily, you can do it over here, main chart, and change the values over here. If you want to change the second chart, Then you hit secondary chart. Now, for example, time frame, we select monthly. Now you can see a daily and a monthly view next to each other. To conclude this video, we provide you a basic filter screen, which is a simple combination of a technical and a fundamental screening based on Chartmill's technical and fundamental appreciation. This screen will therefore only show candidates who receive at least 7 out of 10 on both the technical and the fundamental rating. So under the tab General, US only, we use the same filters above 5 and the average volume at least 300K. We don't use anything under the tab Performance Indicators. As we've mentioned, 7 out of 10 for the technical rating. And under the Fundamental tab, 7 out of 10 for the fundamental rating. So this screen only shows candidates who receive at least 7 out of 10 on both the technical and the fundamental rating. And you can use these as a basis for your further work. So with these filters, we have 18 results. Change it to the overview table. We have the technical rating, fundamental rating, and this is the setup rating. So in the next video, we'll look at the section Trading Ideas. And here you'll find a large number of predefined filters, and you can immediately use them yourself, or you can fine-tune them to your own trading style.